Alright, welcome to Mr. Verbrack's video tutorial for life science at Marshall Junior High. I have created an instructional video to help you connect science to the 1920s. Part 1 of the video is about natural selection, and Part 2 reveals a few scientific discoveries of the 1920s. The information discussed will be essential for class tomorrow, so please review the video carefully and follow the links provided. Wow. All right, as we look at the pictures of these animals, I want you to think about the different characteristics that these animals have. And the cheetah has spots and the camel has humps. Now, why do these animals have these characteristics? Are they adaptations? Do these characteristics help these animals survive? All right, well, if we think about it in the context of natural selection, and here I've defined natural selection as the process by which plants and animals that can adapt to changes in their environment are able to survive and reproduce, while those that cannot adapt do not survive. All right, if we look at the desert, and now we look at the rainforest, we can see that these are different environments. What's important to understand is that these plants would struggle to live in the other environment. So for example, we know that the plants pictured in the rainforest would have a hard time surviving in the desert. But what's also important to understand is this lone plant in the desert would have a difficult time surviving in the rainforest. It probably would not be able to, because the plant in the desert has adapted to its environment in the desert. All right, giraffes. Well, giraffes have long necks, right? Did they always have long necks? That's a great question. Why don't we take a look at this video? All right, here's various types of dogs. I'm sure many of you are familiar with some of these types of dogs. One of my favorite is the Husky, which is closely related to the Alaskan Malamute, as you can see here on the right side of this slide. Now, these dogs have different characteristics. Some are fluffy, some are straight-haired, some are long-haired, some have long snouts, some have short snouts. Now, is this an example of natural selection? No, this is not an example of natural selection. These dogs have been bred for these characteristics. So people have combined different species that would not occur naturally in order to develop these characteristics of these dogs. All right. So the question I want to ask you while you're looking at this slide is, has the breeding that these dogs have gone through to become the dogs that they are, has that affected natural selection? And will it continue to affect natural selection? All right, why is natural selection relevant? Well, because of you. You would not be here if it weren't for natural selection. None of us would be, and none of the plants and animals that you see around you would be here either. Everything on the earth has gone through the process of natural selection and continues to go through the process of natural selection. An underlying statement that I want you to take away from natural selection is that we must adapt to our environment and world. We must change in order to survive. Mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, and environmentally, we need to change. We need to adapt. Oh, check this guy out. That's an old school science laboratory there. Possibly from the 1920s. Now, what might that scientist have been discovering? Well, possibly penicillin, maybe insulin, or it could have been diphtheria and immunization. These are three important scientific discoveries that happened during the 1920s. Now, these discoveries can also be related to natural selection. All right, so I've researched and provided links here for some great websites on scientific discoveries during the 1920s. It's your job to explore 3 of these websites. Hopefully you choose to explore more than 3. All right, thanks for watching. Please use the information presented in this video to complete the video quiz. And also, think about some of the questions I've listed at the bottom of this page. Just food for thought. It will definitely help you in your upcoming group project.